All right, so we're joined from Dallas College by the Chief Digital Engagement Officer at Dallas College, Dr. Pamela Luckett. We thank you so much for taking some time for us today. This is our entrepreneurship class here at Velma Jackson High School. I've got a room full here with me, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for taking some time for us today.
You're welcome.
All right, so we want to talk about all the cool things you do, all the you've spoken all over the country, all types of awards. But just take us a little, give us a little background. You are an HBCU grad, originally from Arkansas, went to University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, um, which we all know is a member of the SWAC, down here with Jackson State, Alcorn, and Mississippi Valley. And then you went to Western Michigan University, which is a great PWI there in Michigan. So I always love hearing the combination of HBCU and PWI degrees because I just think they both have so much to offer and can give you such a diverse education.
It was wonderful. I tell you, I grew up in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, right where the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff was. So I always tell people that that was my foundation. That particular institution taught me how to live, how to navigate life. And so when I transitioned to a PWI institution, I knew how to navigate that whole system
Yeah.
because I knew how to make sure my classes were set, financial aid, how to make sure academic advising. So I always tell people go to a HBCU because when you leave there, you will not only know how to navigate your journey academically, you will know how to navigate life just because of all of the interactions that you will have to go through to just make sure that you're now an adult with making sure that you're responsible with taking action for your degree and your financial aid and your advising. You have to take responsibility, and I think I was able to take that journey from being at an HBCU. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it so much that I wanted my children to experience that as well. So two of my
Wow.
children went back to experience an HBCU at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff as well.
Cool.
So they went there as well, which was a great experience. But my experience at Western Michigan University was also a great experience. They had a wonderful computer science program where I received my master's degree in computer science,
Wow.
specializing in artificial intelligence, neural network design. And they had a wonderful experience there as well. It was cold as heck there, so I wasn't used to all of the snow that was going on there. But yet and still, they had a wonderful experience. So it was a different experience. I think that what I experienced at a PWI was really just finding finding a belonging there.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to find that belonging. I think just being an African American female, it just took me a minute to find that belonging,
Yeah.
a culture there for myself. But it didn't take long because I think that that HBCU experience taught me
Yeah.
how to really navigate and build relationship and build experiences there. So both experiences were great.
And that's great. And I love having that conversation because I think a lot of things are misunderstood because we have seven great HBCUs here in Mississippi, or six. And I have kids tell me all the time, well, I don't want to go to HBCU. I went to a black high school. Well, I said, well, historically black doesn't mean exclusively black. And I don't think it's fair to say all black people are the same because you're going to meet people from all over the world. And they really have so much to offer as far as individual attention from professors. I mean, and at the end of the day, for our kids that want to go to college, we want them to make the best decision for them,
Mhm.
something that can advance their career and advance their life. And then, like you mentioned, at a PWI, we have some great PWIs here in Mississippi as well, or and all over the country. Finding your place, be in student organizations. When I was at LSU in grad school, one of the largest student organizations was the National Society of Black Engineers. and they were going all over the world and getting all types of careers based out of that student organization at a PWI. So I could not agree more when it comes to finding your place. It's more than just the academics. It really is about building your network, which is such a great segue to what we're going to talk about because digital engagement is what you do there at Dallas College. And it is such an important skill because kids know technology.
Yes.
They can use TikTok. They can make the silly videos. They can make the dancing videos, and and all that's fun. And if you want to do that, by all means, knock yourself out. But if you want to be successful in business, you've got to engage customers. You've got
Yes.
to engage employees, and you've got to find a way to have a great mix of not only using the technology but using great communication skills. So, first of all, before we talk about how to be good at that, tell us what digital engagement is because it is something that I think all of us know what it is, but we've never heard it called that.
Right, right. I tell you, I was so blessed to have an opportunity to come here and work at Dallas College, which is a wonderful institution. We serve over 130,000 students, both credit and non-credit. We have 7 campuses that support
Wow.
the Dallas College area. And so here at this institution, we are very focused on breaking barriers. So if there is an issue that is keeping students from attending our institution, our chancellor has really come in and say, collaborate, build relationships, and break those barriers. And so he has a tagline that says, we're in the barrier busting business.
There you go.
And I love it. So we're focused on getting students to Dallas College, getting them through Dallas College, and getting them beyond, which kind of leads me to the digital engagement umbrella. So I used to oversee information technology. And so what had happened was that Dallas College was 7 independently accredited institutions. And what we
Okay.
found was that us being uniquely independently accredited was causing a barrier for students because students would come and take classes wherever the courses were offered. But when it came time for them to graduate, they didn't have courses or 25% at one institution, which caused them not to be able to graduate. And so that led us to become one institution with 7 campuses. And so our chancellor thought about, he said, okay, I want to ensure that we have positioned ourselves so that we are 10 steps ahead, so that we have built a digital ecosystem to ensure that we have built a system to be able to support students in the 22nd century. So we want to make sure that we are not behind, that we're
Yeah.
always forward thinking. We're looking at the futuristics of technologies and we're integrating them into our system. So, from a digital engagement perspective, my team, we go out and we look for futuristic technologies and we are piloting those particular systems to see how we can integrate them into the system that will support student success, how students can be able to use them and translate those into skills so that they can take those back out to the workforce to be able to join employment, and join their careers for employment, successful careers out in the employment world. So that's kind of what digital engagement is about, is really being forward thinking, being futuristic, and not really waiting on the sidelines and waiting
There you
for
go.
technologies to come about. And now we integrate them after they've been out and where they are no longer emerging. So we're trying to make sure that we're on the cutting edge of technology and exploring those and looking at how we can make sure that we're giving students the skills that they need to be able to join the workforce when they graduate.
Now, on your website, you have such a great quote, and we were looking at it before we went to lunch. And you make a mention about when you make an impact, it needs to be lasting. If you're going to be successful in business, people have to know who you are. People have to know who your business is.
Yes.
So, talk about what type of communication skills are important for an entrepreneur because that digital engagement is important. You've got to learn how to use these new technologies, these new AI systems in order to have the right algorithm reaching people. But at the end of the day, when that digital engagement reaches them, you've got to be able to say, "Hey, here's what I'm selling. Here's how it can benefit you." So when people can use that digital technology to get in front of the customer, how do they leave that impact?
Well, I tell you what's really important, and everybody has to understand that technology is a tool.
Yep.
I talk about it all of the time. It is just a tool that enables you to do your job more effectively and more efficiently. We still need the human centric part of however you're utilizing that technology, which means that communication, building relationships, all of those particular competencies that are taught in the beginning. I like to say those warm, fuzzy competencies, all of those particular skills are still needed because those are the things that enable you to build relationships because you're not going to get anywhere without building those relationships because you want to be able to, and I always say, and I tell my team, I want to be able to come up with solutions before my customers actually tell me that it's a problem because I build a relationship with them. I kind of know what's going on with them. I'm already thinking about what's their problem so that I can come up with a solution before they even tell me that that's a problem. So building a relationship, communicating, problem solving, all of those particular things and those particular competencies are very important when it comes to customer engagement because you want to make sure that you're meeting their expectations. And that's important in any business. So I don't care what technology, what AI agent you bring in, because AI is the big thing now. But remember, there will always be a new technology. So I don't care what technology it is, it does not replace the humanistic side. And that's you personally, what you bring to whatever business aspect that you are entering into. So you still matter. Your communication still practices, you building relationships, it still matters.
Yeah, and before we went to lunch today, we were talking about little things you can do to get the customer involved. You can use that technology, but once you put the technology in front of them, you have to make their eyes see certain things. No matter what it is, even if it's the size of the font, if it's saying, "Hey, all this is included," if you put numbers, certain sizes. So, because we were talking about pricing and sales as such a mental game, any type of engagement of any sort with a customer is a mental game because at the end of the day, a business needs a customer more than the customer needs the business. So
Mhm.
you have to be able to show, look, I'm the best option for you. I may cost this much, but here's what you're getting whenever you do business with me.
Right. But I also, what's important for students and for all of us to understand that research matters. You must make sure that you research that you know exactly what's appealing to that particular customer base because you just don't want to put anything out there because then if you
There
put
you
it out
go.
there, it's not appealing to the customer. So make sure you do your homework. All of the tools that are out there that you can go and Google, you can go TikTok, you can do all kinds of things to figure out what's going to be appealing to the customer base that I'm trying to reach, which goes back to your particular point, which is how do I make sure that what I'm selling is going to be appealing? Go do your research. It's going to tell you what it needs to look like, whether you need to bold the font, whether you need to put the cost first, whether you need to put a video first, whether you need to put less text first. It will tell you. So make sure you're doing your research first. And then guess what? Put some surveys out there. Ask your customer. You want to make sure that your customers are involved with whatever it is that you're actually getting involved with.
Yeah, and use the technology to help you.
Yes,
It is this bunch in here has done a great job because I said, look, I'm not asking you to be I'm not an English teacher. I'm not asking you to write your own original work. I'm asking you to have a business idea.
yes.
Business owners every day use AI to help them write mission statements, to help them write sales pitches, to help
Mhm.
them write employee manuals. Once it gives you something, you can change words here and there to make it fit your business. It takes the guesswork and a lot of the grunt work out of all this stuff. So I've actually encouraged this bunch to do it, and it is amazing how well it's worked. So again, it's a tool. It's not taking the place of doing the idea for you because you can say, write me a mission statement about XYZ business that has this goal and selling this product.
Exactly. And do exactly what you say. It is a tool to help you to expand your idea, to help you problem solve. It doesn't replace you. It is a tool. And I think that that's probably is a sermon in itself that probably that I talk about all the time when I'm doing AI basic classes and those particular things. I'm always telling them that it is a tool. Use it. It is there to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Use it. And I teach prompting because that's exactly what you just did. You just gave it a prompt to be able to help you think more clearly. Why go in and rewrite and redo what's already out there? Prompt it the way it needs to be prompted so that it can come back and give you the response that you need.
Now, along the same lines, and I know they get sick of me talking about this, but this is my soapbox, and I'm gonna keep beating it as long as I'm teaching. You can use the technology to reach your customers.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to speak. You've got to be able to sell. You've got to be able to present yourself, to present your company. And it can't just be to your friends because you mentioned about you've got to do what the customer wants. And if you're trying to build a business on or anything just based on your friends, you're not going to be successful. You've got to learn how to reach other people. So
Yes.
little skills like being able to walk into a room and introduce yourself, being able to, after that technology has given the presentation, be able to explain it to somebody that doesn't understand. And they get so upset because I make them present in front of the class. And it's not to be mean and it's not to be overly difficult, but it is a skill that will be vital to anyone that wants to be successful in business.
You are so correct. I think presentation, that's a whole part of communicating. And to be able to do that and do it effective and learn young, I think that it gets you a long way as you continue to mature and start on your career journey. So I am telling all your students, please take advantage of it because you're going to need it as you go through your journey, through college, through jobs, especially when you're looking at interviewing for new positions. You're going to need this particular communication skill. So please practice, practice, practice. And guess what? Utilize the tools that are out there to do mock interviews. It will help you to be able to continue to get your points across as you're continuing to communicate.
Now, I do have some great questions I want to get to from them, but one thing I definitely want to talk about is, look, I've always said this, and I was even quoted in a magazine as saying that for decades there was a lack of resources, there was a lack of exposure in rural communities across America, especially rural Black communities. But there's never been a better time to make use of this new technology to learn these skills. Look, just because your grandparents didn't have the opportunity doesn't mean that you can't have the opportunity. You know,
Yes.
just because you haven't seen something doesn't mean that you can't do it and be great at it. This platform started during COVID, and it is amazing how we've been able to have all types of people to say, "Look, I came from a similar situation, and I was able to do this." So,
Yes.
how important is it for them to get seats at those tables that for decades people that look like them may not have had a chance to be at?
It is crucial. I think that ensuring that you have a seat at the table, because having a seat at the table means that there are diversification of thought, which we didn't have before, which is the reason why you only have things a certain way. But when you have diversification around the table, that means that when it comes to a problem or when it comes to the solution, there's diversification when it comes to that solution because of the people that are sitting around the table. So it is important that we are looking at diversification. And I'm with you. We just don't need Black lawyers and Black doctors and Black athletes. We need young Black CEOs and investors and engineers and tech
Oh yeah,
founders and strategists. And we need all of that. And I think that
yeah.
because of technology today, there is no reason why we cannot ensure that just because we come from rural areas and our parents didn't have, I think technology has given us a level playing field that now we're able to have that. Because when I look at myself, I come from a large family of 10. My parents did
Wow.
not go to college, but they wanted to make sure that all of their children went to college. And so I'm the oldest of 10. And so they were ensuring that they invested in us to go to college, but they didn't go to college. So guess what? They couldn't tell me how to go and enroll in college or what that experience would look like. So I had to depend on other role models, my teachers from school, like yourself, or from college. I had to look at them, but my parents were my role models at home. They gave me that foundation, but they couldn't tell me how
Yeah.
to go and start a business or how to go and apply for a chief level position. They couldn't tell me those particular things. And so, but just because they didn't do it did not mean that I could not do it. It was inside of me. I had to ignite I had to be determined about it and ignite that particular determination that was inside of me. So you are
Yeah,
so correct.
and you mentioned about why we need more diversification. I got to introduce you to my friend in Alabama, Dr. Misty Freeman, who wrote a book about this. Because when you have people programming AI, things are getting missed. It doesn't mean these people are racist. It doesn't mean that they're evil, but they don't have the same mindset. They don't have the same background. If only white men are doing AI programs to diagnose diseases, to reach customers, people are going to be missed. People are going to be misdiagnosed. It can literally cost somebody their life. So that is why it's so important for these kids to know, look, just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean you can't do it.
Right.
And there's so many great opportunities now. And some of these kids don't even want to go to college, and that's fine. They can still be very successful learning these business skills now, learning how to sell, learning how to engage. And some of them already have some great ideas already.
Right, right. And utilize all of the tools that are out there to be able to get your business off the ground. And I'm with you. A lot of them already have it because if you cut hair, if you've done nails, if you've done any of those things, you already have an entrepreneurial mindset. You just got to get it out there and use the technology tools to be able to help you get your ideas out there and reach other customers. Build
And
your customer base.
Well, that's a great segue to this first question. This is Chandra Lucia Black. She's in 10th grade. She wants to be in the cosmetology industry. And she asked, what platforms or tools do you see as most useful for engagement?
To sell a product or a service. Of course, what's out there, you can use the TikTok and the YouTubes to be able to record and to be able to show your particular services that are out there. You see a lot of people utilizing Instagram. I would go with the free because you want to be able to show your services right now. And to make sure that it is in a professional setting. But I would make sure I'm using those professional settings because guess what? That's what people are looking at. They will go and they will search things on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram to be able to see what kind of service is out in a particular area, and they look at your reviews. So you make sure that once you actually service a particular client, you have them to write a review because then people would then go to search your reviews.
Yeah, and again, you have to look at what your customer is going to use. A great example of that. 2 years ago, we had a young lady go through the same class, and she's already in the process of starting this business. Her and her sister are in the process of starting an online platform to where they're going to do black hair care tutorials for non-black parents.
Ah,
And they said, look, we have to look and see what these parents are going to be using because they're not going to be using TikTok as much. So they're going to be looking at ways to put it on that level to where their digital engagement is finding their market.
that is true. That is another option as well, is that you can look at trying to do a survey to be able to ask that question: is what social media platform are you utilizing, and then be able to utilize it that way. So there are several different things that you can actually do to be able to engage.
I like this one. This is Shanaria Lewis. She's got a great idea for a home health service. And she asked, what helps you stay successful and motivated? Oh, and she's in 10th grade, by the way, but she asked, what helps you stay successful and motivated?
I tell you, for me, it's grounded is that my faith. I'm unapologetic about my faith and my belief in God. And so I think that that keeps me grounded. It keeps me motivated to know that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and whatever the Lord has for me to do, whatever He places in my hands, I have the faith that it is going to succeed. And so that keeps me grounded. It keeps me motivated. And then also, I know that I'm working to ensure that I'm successful for my family as well. So that keeps me grounded.
I love this one. This is Jacayla Cross. She's in 10th grade, member of our JROTC here at Velma Jackson, and wants to have some sort of anime Asian culture business, very, very deep into the Korean and Japanese culture. But she asked, what strategies have helped you and your businesses grow the most?
Strategies. So I think that when I look at my strategy, because I'm very, very involved in my particular career has really been revolved around higher education. Higher education, making sure that that we create a structure so that we can get students in and get them a degree, whether or not it is a credit or it's a non-credit, a certification, or whether or not it's a degree. And so my strategies for really taking my team through is really making sure that the team understands what the student needs. And so that strategy is making sure that I build a rapport with my team, that my team understands what the customer needs, and that we are building a strategic approach to make sure that we are always aligned with the institutional mission and values of the institution. And so that those are my strategic approaches.
All right, I got time for two more. I like this one. This is Tredarius Quinn. He's in 10th grade. He's a member of our band here. And he asked, what types of obstacles have you had in digital engagement, and what do you do when it gets difficult?
Oh, I love the band. I was in the band when I was in high school, so I love the band. Still love the band. I tell you, there will always be obstacles, and so we look at obstacles as opportunities, but there will
There you go.
always be obstacles. So everybody needs to understand that even when you as you go up higher, you get more responsibilities. There are always obstacles, and so you have to really take a moment, take a moment to really analyze what is the particular issue, and figure out what's the best way to proceed. You want to make sure that you're dealing with issues with a level head. One of the things that I really try to make sure that I do is to internalize what's really going on with the issue or the challenge that I may be facing, and figure out what's the best way to proceed. And I always tell my team, this is the one thing I tell my team all the time: when people go low, you go high. So I never try to let them see me sweat.
Love it. I got one more. This is Quenisha Kennedy. She's in 11th grade, and she asked, what does success mean to you?
Oh, at the end of the day, success means that I feel good about being able to help someone else find their purpose, that I have helped someone else. And that's what success feels like to me, that
Love
I've
it.
helped
Well,
someone else.
Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for taking some time for us. But a couple things before we go. First of all, drpamelaluckett.com is your website. All your accomplishments are on there. I will put your resume up against anybody that we've had on this platform. It is just, you're so humble, but it is quite impressive, all the things that you've done, that you've won, and all the things you're speaking about. So a lot of very interesting stuff on there. Very recent. So really encourage everybody to go to that website, drpamelaluckett.com. And the last thing before we go is, as these kids matriculate through high school and start making decisions, whether it's to go to the college or go to the military, go straight into entrepreneurship, or, we're all about giving options. But at the end of the day, why is it so important to be able to, again, back to digital engagement, to be able to reach people and communicate with people, and like you say on your website, to leave an impression that will be lasting? What is the key, and how do they do it?
Oh God. I think that the key is to make sure that you are your authentic self. and make sure that you are building relationships. I
There you
think
go.
that if I can leave one life lesson with everyone who is listening, and that is that I would want to tell you guys to protect your digital fingerprint. Every
Oh,
time
yes.
you like or repost or share something online without checking if it's real, you're just scrolling, you're signing your name to that content. False information destroys reputation, it spreads hate, it keeps people ignorant. And here's the truth: screenshots do not disappear, and your digital trail follows you for life. College recruiters, employers, scholarship committees, even future business partners will see it. So be smarter than the algorithm. Think before you click. And so
Wow.
that will be what I would want to leave and to share with all of you today, is that just make sure that you're protecting your digital fingerprint.
Love it. Well, again, we thank you so much for fitting us in your busy schedule. The Chief Digital Engagement Officer at Dallas College, all the way out there in Dallas, Texas, my friend, Dr. Pamela Luckett Smith. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. And you be safe on your travels to Dallas and have a wonderful time at the concert.
All right. All right. Talk to you soon, my friend.
All right. Bye bye now.
See ya.